Welcome back. I got some more Reddit stuff for you. This one is my ex-husband left a baby on my doorstep after cheating on me. First off, that's just weird. If my ex left a baby on my doorstep and we haven't seen each other in a while, well, it's even more real because it's a guy leaving a baby on a woman's doorstep. It'd be different if it was the other way around. You'd be like, oh, is this my kid? If it was a woman leaving a baby on the doorstep of a guy, it's still wrong to do it that way. But at the same time, it makes more sense because then you'll be like, oh, is this my baby? Go get a blood test. And if it turns out it's not yours, then you're like, oh, child services. But in this case, it's a man leaving a baby on her doorstep. So it's like, what? So let's get into it. Let's see what is going on in this crazy one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Oh, I wanted to. I now have over 40 subscribers. So my goal is to get to 1 million subscribers before the end of the year. Come on, guys, let's do it. I don't know why I did that. I was thinking that in my head when I saw I had over 40 subscribers now. But yeah, my goal is just to keep doing this for as long as I want. If I start making money, obviously I won't keep doing it even longer. But for right now, it's just something I do to occupy my time. All right, everyone, let's get into it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let's see why the husband left a baby on her doorstep.
Ex-husband left a baby on my doorstep after cheating on me for years.
That sounds like bad Harry Potter.
And
Bad
folks,
Harry Potter.
there is a trigger warning for emotional and
Emotional
also,
abuse.
folks, this does come directly from the r/OK Storytime subreddit.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Once again, this will not be my story. This is actually my other sister Jen's story. My ex-husband, we'll call him Dan, we met in college. We're both in the same program. He was very sweet and charming and everything that you would expect from a Southern man. We got married after graduating. After this, everything changed all of a sudden. He went from sweet and charming and surprising me with flowers to avoiding me and rather hanging out with the boys than at home with me. I became very unhappy. By the way, this comes from Miss Kitty Cat.
Oh my god. We know you.
And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP said,
I'm looking at that control panel on the one girl's lap. Is she controlling the camera? Because I can see it. Each time the camera moves, like she's moving her hand. So I'm surprised that if that is the case, that they're switching cameras like that, why not just record it on both cameras and just edit it? This is supposed to be doing side effects or sound effects or effects. Oh well, let's get back.
unfortunately, I was not able to find a job in my career as quickly as he did, and we moved for his job, so I was away from my family. Also, I had religious trauma, and my pastors and members of my church just kept telling me to work harder. That was super damaging. I would put him first all the time to my detriment. If he didn't want to go out, we weren't going out. He would tell me how much I needed him, and I truly believed him. Eventually, I was able to find a job. It was over an hour away from our home. I enjoyed what I did. I was happy to be somewhere that wasn't inside the house. In my head, things were getting better. In reality, it wasn't. It was just because I wasn't trapped in the house all the time. When I finally got brave enough and left my church, I realized how bad of a situation I was actually in. I
find it interesting when people leave their church and they discover how wrong their church was. Now, I'm not saying this is about every church, but there's some churches out there that don't care what your situation is. They just give you bad advice just to give you bad advice, it seems like. It's like, she's getting beat to hell and back, and you're like, just stay and pray to God and work it out. It's like, no, get out of there. But as I said, it's not all churches, but there are churches out there like this where they just don't care. Your husband rules the house. You have to do what he says. It's like, no.
start the divorce process. We'd only been married for 1.5 years at that point, a total of 5 years together. I was so miserable. I was over 6.5 hours away from my family. I just wasn't happy. So I served him the divorce papers, and like a light switch, everything changed. He begged for me to stay and said he didn't realize how good he had it. All the same old stuff they say to you when they want you to stay. So I agreed to hold off for a little bit just because I saw such a drastic change. But that never lasts for long. During that time, I got pregnant. It was not a planned pregnancy, and trust me, neither of us wanted a kid at the time. None of his friends had kids, so he was very upset about it. Everything went downhill fast. He kept telling me how I was going to ruin his life, and how he didn't want a kid right now. It's not like I wanted one either, and we were both using birth control. He wasn't ready to be locked down. After that, I called my dad crying, stating everything that was going on, and how much Dan did not want this kid, and I needed to leave. My mom got a hold of Dan's parents and let them know what was going on. I was 6 months pregnant at this time. I couldn't remove any of my stuff on my own, and I needed help. My parents showed up, and so did Dan's parents. Dan's dad, we'll call him Bill, was apologizing to me, stating how he didn't raise his son like this, and that no son of his was going to treat a woman like this. I had 5 separate vehicles here to load up all my stuff, but as we were...
I'm actually, if his parents are really like that, I'm really happy the parents are like that. Now, I like the fact we didn't raise them to be like this. Like sometimes, because I was talking to my family about, I was watching one of those murder mysteries, and there was like 6 of them, and one of them killed one of the other siblings and took their identity. And the oldest sibling, it made the news to where, let me start over. There were 6 people in his family, or 6 kids, 6 siblings. I think it was 6. It may have been 4 or 5. Anyways, we'll stick with 6. There were 6, all grown, all gone their separate ways. The one sibling actually stayed in the house where they grew up, bought the house, kept the house. Then one of the siblings moved back in because they needed help. And she helped the sibling B raise her kids, and the kids are off on their own. So sibling B decided to kill sibling A and take their identity. Then something happened to where sibling B wound up in the news claiming to be sibling A. And the older sibling went, "That's not sibling A. That's sibling B." Like, well, how do you know that? Because I'm the older sister. I was just... And they were like, "Oh." And the cops already suspected her of doing something. And they couldn't find the other sister because sibling A said sibling B moved out and went on her own. But they couldn't find sibling B. Here this whole time, they had sibling B. It was sibling A that was dead. And then what made it even worse is that sibling B was actually married to another woman who did the exact same thing, basically, and to her family. Like, she killed one of her family members and took their identity. And when we heard that, we were just like, oh my God, that's where she got the idea. And even the prosecutors and the police in the case said that's where she got the idea to steal the identity. But yeah, and the argument was you can raise a whole bunch of kids, and it seems like the more kids you raise, the more likely one of them is going to be a psychopath. It's like you can raise them all. Like, you can have a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, or a guy who works a blue collar job, and then you got the one that's doing nothing. And it's like, how did you get 4 out of 5 to be something, and then the 5th one's just like, I'm just an average guy? Like, no, you're a loser. Number 4 is an average guy. He's out there busting his ass. You're just sitting on the couch sucking down a beer. But yeah, I'll always find that amazing. It's either, if it's more than 2 kids is when I see it more, or if it's just 1 kid, actually, I see it where the parents raised 1 kid and they thought they did a good job and then discovered their kid is a psychopath. But anyway, let's get back to it.
Loading my bigger items into my dad's truck, Dan finally came home, mind you, slightly wasted. He got out of his vehicle, and Bill came running out of our house and grabbed Dan by the collar and started screaming at him. I've never seen Dan look so scared. My mom rushed me into the house so that the men could handle their business. I didn't see or hear much. I just heard a lot of screaming. About 5 minutes later, a scuffed up Bill came back into the house and apologized again to me. I didn't say anything. I just started crying all over again. I knew I had to go. So we finished packing, and Dan came out of the corner as we were about to leave and goes, "You're really divorcing me?" I said yes. I couldn't be with a man who hated me and his child. I told Dan he didn't have to be a part of this child's life at all, and he could give up custody. I didn't care. Dan looked at me and said, "Good. I'm glad you're leaving. I can't believe the one time I sleep with you, you get pregnant." But I've been sleeping with Marcy for 2.5 years now, and she hasn't gotten pregnant once. It's not a flex, dude. You just suck.
You are the worst, dude.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a way to admit you're cheating. I've been sleeping with this girl for 2 years and she didn't get pregnant. It's like, so you just admitted to cheating? She's getting it. She could literally take everything now. Just take everything. He admitted to it in front of everybody. His dad already hates him. Oh my God.
Stinky man, stinky, stinky. My heart shattered. I couldn't feel any lower. In a calm voice, I said, "You've been cheating on me for 2.5 years? So before we got married?" He said, "Yeah, they work at the same job. She actually helped him get this job. She also came to our wedding." Who is this girl? Who goes to the wedding of the person you're cheating with?
Clearly someone that knows about the wife the whole time.
I just couldn't cry anymore, and I said,
Yeah, that girl, she's probably a psychopath herself. To do that. I don't understand people who do that stuff. It's like, why do you want a married man or a married woman? Why do you want to be the side chick? Why do you want to be the side piece? Period. I don't get it. I have never wanted to be the side piece in any way, shape, or form. And I don't want a side piece. I don't want people who do that. It's so weird.
"I hope you're happy with her," and turned around and walked. Dan screamed at me as I walked away, "No one's gonna want a single mom now. You ruined your own life."
Well, it'll be better than being with you,
Yeah. Anything's better than this guy. Bill came out of nowhere and punched Dan straight in the mouth. Is this Dan's dad? I think this
so.
is Dan's dad. Go Bill.
Sure.
They started wrestling in the front yard. My mom got me into my vehicle and she said, "You don't need to be here for this," and started driving me away. But then it hit me all at once that he said that he's been cheating on me for 2.5 years. I went back to my mom's house with the realization that I no longer had a job. I was about to have a baby by myself, and everything that I thought I knew was just gone. Fast forward a couple of days, my in-laws showed up with the rest of my stuff to unload at my mom's house. Before I even had a chance to get to the door, I saw Bill outside crying at his vehicle to his wife. Seeing him cry made me cry, and I walked outside. I have no idea what he tried to say to me. It was just sobs and tears. I could understand in between the sobs some of the words saying, "I'm so sorry." I mean, at least you have very supportive family.
I bet you Bill's been cheated on. Bill's been cheated on, and that's it broke his heart when he got cheated on. So to find out that this woman, who he probably considered his daughter, got cheated on by his own son, broke his heart even more. It's just what the hell? And I wonder if Bill's religious too. Because, well, even if he's not, I feel like Bill's been hurt. He's been down this road where he's got cheated on, and to raise a son who cheats. I hope my son never does it, because I won't take his side if he cheats. And same for my daughter. If she cheats, I'm not taking her side. It's well, they don't pay attention. That's no excuse. Break up with them. Move on. I'll just be blunt with them. I don't know if I would beat my son up or have him, or try to get my wife to beat up my daughter. I try not to beat up my daughter. You know, me and my daughter sometimes fist fight. It's always for fun. She'll just walk up to her and start swinging. "Oh, you want to fight?" So we'll play tap. But yeah, to be that angry to where you're beating the crap out of your son, he's been hurt. He has definitely been hurt.
Members.
Right. 8+ Bill.
Yeah. You have 4 parents who all seemingly support you.
Oh yeah, that kid's gonna be spoiled rotten by both sets of grandparents. It seems like, because Bill's probably gonna go out his way to spoil that kid. He's gonna spoil that kid to death, just to make up for the father. But I want to know about the other kid. Is this the same? Is he kidnapping this baby, or let's go? Let's get to that part.
And you're about to have a kid. It's, you're not alone.
Yeah,
That's
I think we still have that good support system without the worst man of the bunch.
Honestly, your support system has gone up now.
Yeah.
Eventually, once everything calmed down, he told me that they're cutting off their son, and anything they need to do to support me and their grandbaby, they will be here for, no questions asked.
Wow.
That is not a son to them. I was super grateful for their support. I've always had a good relationship with them, but I never thought they would choose me over their own biological son. Bill is a blue-collar working man who worked in construction. Seeing a big burly man break down in tears really pulls on your heartstrings. And let's fast forward 3 years now. I'm happily divorced. My now boyfriend at the time was raising our little girl. I wasn't looking for anybody, but my buddy Matt just kind of fell into my life perfectly. He was working at one of the jobs that I would come into for rotation. I told him I wasn't looking for anything. I just got out of a nasty divorce and I have huge trust issues. He was incredibly helpful. Actually, funny enough, we lived in the same apartment complex. We didn't even know it until one day I was going on a run and he happened to be walking outside of his building. The rest became history. I informed him of the complicated and loving relationship I had with my in-laws. He accepted all that. He loves my daughter just like his own, and he's been in her life since she was 7 months old. She calls him Dad. This is great. What a lovely update. Sometimes you get rid of a trash man and get wonderful man.
I don't know how old this story is, but hopefully they didn't break up. The kid's calling him Dad. That would suck.
Plus in-laws,
Upgrades.
A plus Matt, A plus family,
Wins across the
upgrades
board.
fully.
Unfortunately, Matt was in a really bad accident. No! He was in the military. So he has one prosthetic leg and is not able to have...
Oh, shit. I thought they were going to say he was dead. Because even they were like, oh, no. Oh, my God.
children. At least he's still alive. I got really scared.
I was very worried.
So he is over the moon to have this little girl in his life.
Oh my God.
Eventually we moved in together. One day I got a ring at home. By the time I got up and went to the door, I didn't see anybody. I was confused about what was happening. I opened my door and saw a literal baby on my front porch. I was so confused. I picked up the baby. She was in a very nasty car seat. And the note just said, "I know you'll take care of her."
I'm glad you opened the door, because if I looked out my peephole and saw nobody, I'd think someone was hiding, and I would...
Yeah, I probably wouldn't open the door, actually. Well, there's no one out there. There's probably just ding-dong ditch. The kid would have been... Man, don't do that to me, because the kid probably would have... Oh, my goodness. Yeah, don't do that. Make sure they open the door or something.
Yeah. I called my sister, who's in law enforcement, and explained that there was a random baby at my door. I don't know who it is. The baby clearly needed a bath and needed food, and luckily I had some extra formula just in case of an emergency in my cupboards. My sister informed me to call the police to let them know what was going on. When my sister showed up, she was in her squad vehicle and she was on her way home. Out of nowhere, my ex-husband shows up. He screamed from across the lot at us saying, "You called the effing police? A random baby showed up on her door."
Right, you didn't sign the note with who...
Yeah.
He literally left his... I knew it was him, but still... And he was still there. He was watching. Did he come back by to make sure she got... Oh my God, he's an idiot. He's a man-child. He's the definition of a man-child. Jesus.
Hey, it's me, your ex. This is
It's
my
me,
baby.
Scummy Dan.
Scummy Dan. Here's my baby. Good luck. She could get arrested if she didn't call the police.
You could have pulled kidnapping on her or something.
Kat says back to Dan, "What do you know about this, and what is this all about?" Turns out that this little 18-week-old baby is Dan and Marcy's. I guess Dan really doesn't want children, and he thought since I already had one child, that I could take care of a second one.
Not how that works, buddy.
Nope. Dan looked absolutely terrible. Very skinny, very erratic. Apparently, he and Marcy have been doing substances for quite some time now. Marcy ended up, ODing about a month after giving birth to her baby. So you know that baby is going to have some issues in terms of, she was probably pregnant and doing substances. Dan was taking care of it, and he figured he couldn't do it anymore. He refuses to get in contact with his own parents, so he figured if he just dropped off the baby at my front door, that I would just handle it. The cops for my county ended up showing up, and I was just so confused.
I'm sorry. He could have left the baby on their doorstep with a note saying, "This is your grandchild." And you know what I mean? But still, to leave it on her doorstep. I wouldn't... First off, I wouldn't have done that in the first place. Secondly... Why her? I mean, why not surrender. I get it. He's a drug addict, but still, even drug addict know to surrender their baby. Yeah. Some of them don't. I guess we ought to be glad he didn't, get rid of the baby. But even though you're not talking to your parents, you could have still dropped it off and be like, "Here, I don't want it." Or, like, it's just, when I hear these things, it's like, wow. Clearly, and also when is Dan their only kid? Because, like I was saying earlier, if it's, a lot of times the only kid, it either is not all there, or, I'm not saying it's always when it's the only kid, but a lot of times when it's the only kid and they go off the deep end, you're kind of like, yeah, probably got spoiled. And then the other times, like, there's a bunch of kids, and for whatever reason, that one kid is just crazy. It doesn't always have to be the youngest kid, but it seems like the youngest kid will do something to the family. The middle kid is like running scams, and the oldest kid is just a straight up psychopath. In that order, it seems like if they go crazy. Granted, there's no scientific proof behind any of this. It's just me talking, but still, that's what it seems like. But yeah, he could have just left it on the parents' doorstep and ran.
I asked him, what if I wasn't home? He said, oh no, I've been here for a couple of days now, and I've been watching to make sure you've been home. I parked my vehicle in my garage, and so does my fiance. So Dan found my address from his aunt. He said that he needed to give me child support check, but the thing is, he terminated his rights to our daughter when she was born. So he's been stalking outside my house for a few days. When he saw me coming out to get the mail, he figured this would be the best time. I contacted his parents and let them know that they have another granddaughter. They were heartbroken and so excited, all at the same time. I know Dan got arrested for child neglect due to the way this baby looked. Again, she was very dirty, and she looked like she hadn't had a good meal in a while. He also looked like he was high on substances. After everything calmed down, my fiancé was so shocked with everything that was going on. He's never seen the real crazy up in person. My ex-in-laws were trying to get custody of the little girl, but due to some of their health concerns, they didn't know if they were actually able to take her. Eventually, Matt asked me if we should adopt our little girl's sister. I looked at him with big eyes. I wasn't even considering that. That seems like such a great guy.
I also was figuring the in-laws would adopt her, but
seems like they can't. Matt went and talked to Bill about everything that was going on and asked if he thought it'd be a good idea.
Matt's a bigger man than me. I don't know if I would adopt a kid. I mean, granted, he's raising her kid. What's one more? But if they got a good life. If they got a good life and that's her sibling, this way you can make sure they grow up together and they know each other. But still, that's so messed up.
If we took on the little girl. Dan was going to terminate his rights as soon as he got out of jail and got everything squared away. Obviously, the mother was no longer in the picture. She also did not have parents. She was an only child. And Dan said he would have no idea even who to look for to see if they would also take the child. That was a lot for me to think about. I already have this amazing 3-year-old. Taking on another baby who probably has a lot of health issues and maybe addiction.
Definitely some health stuff, probably.
I wasn't quite sure about that.
Not necessarily. You'd be surprised how many drug-addicted babies don't grow up being addicts. It's more common than you think, unfortunately. And not to mention those mothers who drink when they're pregnant. So it's quite possible the kid could just be fine with no side effects. But that is something you need to consider. The mother was on substance, as they keep saying. But yeah, it's just addicts and babies are a bad combination.
Matt said the decision was up to me, but if I decided I would like to take on the baby girl, he would be more than happy to be there with me. It took me some time to really think about everything. I don't know, can we do foster to adopt?
Getting approved to be a foster, though, would take too much time, probably.
Then adopting her?
I mean, I don't know how for...
I think it does actually take longer to become a foster parent than it does to adopt a kid, actually. And it also depends on the state where you're at. But from what I've heard, it's hard to become a foster parent, but once you're a foster parent, it's like they just dump kids on you pretty much. But like I said, it depends on the state. Because some states, it's easy to become a foster parent because there are some vile people who become foster parents. So I think it depends on the state.
Sure, it would work.
Dan was going to end up terminating the rights to his child and agreeing to leave her in foster care. I've heard all the terrible stories about the foster care system, and I really did not want what happened to other children to happen to her.
If they knew the mother's name, I would think the police might be able to try to track down other family members related to mom.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not sure how great that'll go from the sounds of her
Exactly, I
and
think-
her relationships,
Yeah.
but you definitely wouldn't see this baby again.
Yeah. The social worker told Bill that they were unlikely to get the child, but they could foster her until they could find her a home. Bill has a lot of back problems, and so he no longer works, but his wife Joanne still does. So he'd have a hard time picking up the baby or bending over to get her. But at this point, this would be the only family she would have. It did take me some time, but eventually I did agree that I would like to adopt her. Wow. What
Wow,
a, I
wow,
mean,
wow.
angel move. You did not have to do that at all, but like truly, what a angel move of you.
Angel move to Matt being the one to suggest
angel
that?
move. Yeah.
I'm going to say, yeah, that was something that Matt to do, but I'm also going to say it might have been a little selfish on Matt's part, because remember, he can't have kids. And he saw this as a way to have a second kid. Maybe, I kind of wonder if Matt was thinking about adoption and because he wanted kids, and this works out great for him. Literally a kid was dropped off on his doorstep. It's the sibling of the kid that he's already raising. Perfect for Matt. He's got 2 kids now. It sounds like he's a great individual, so hopefully he's not going to be one of those updates. Matt's a monster! But yeah, that's why I kind of wonder if it's kind of a little selfish on Matt's part, but not in an evil way, just in the way that I can have 2 kids now. So, either way.
Matt has no relation to either of these kids and yet has like stepped up
Has
far
fully
more
been
than
like, I want
any,
both.
Most men would do, or most people in this situation would do. Props to you, Matt.
Oh, Matt.
I talked everything over with Matt, and we thought it'd be in our best interest for all the procedures to go easy, just to have a quick courthouse wedding and then start the logistics of adopting. We got married that same weekend, and we informed our families what we would be doing. Matt's mom and dad weren't really thrilled about it, but did understand the fact that he would never be able to have biological children. So
I wonder if Matt's parents were upset because they went to the courthouse and got married instead of having a big wedding. Because I'd be like, we could have threw you a wedding. You never know. That could be the reason. Because it sounds like they got over it. But then again, we don't know Matt's situation. Maybe this is why he's such a good human being, because he grew up in crap. You never know. 'Cause it's amazing how many people do grow up with crappy lives that turn out sometimes to be the best people. So that could be why he's the way he is.
even if he wanted more kids, adoption would be the only other way to go. At least my oldest will be with her biological sister. Bill cried so much after we informed him of our decision. Bill just kept hugging Matt and crying into his shoulder. Bill seems like such a great guy. Telling him what a good man he was, and he was more of a son to him than his actual son. Matt's shirt was soaking wet when we left. The more time I spent with this little girl, the more I loved her. And I see no difference between the daughter I gave birth to and the daughter that I adopted. So over time, with all the hoops and the visits and everything we had to go to, eventually we were able to adopt her. Isn't it amazing? A great story. Matt is thrilled to be a girl dad. He's having the time of his life. My kids are now 6 and 3. Oh, yeah, they are. They now have a loving, messed up, blended family. This is so sweet. Luckily now we have a very good co-parenting grandparents relationship. We have Papa, which is my dad. We have Poppy, my mom's husband. We have Pappy, which is Bill, and we have Grandpa, which is Matt's dad. Love that. Then we have Mima, who is my mom. We have Mimi, who is my dad's wife. Then we have Nana, who is Bill's wife, Joanne. Then we have...
You got 3 sets of grandparents. I hope all the kids, I hope Matt's parents, clearly they got over whatever issues they had. But I wonder if they spoil both kids, because, I mean, they're not biologically his, so I think it's awesome that they're in there, like, you got 3 sets of grandparents.
Grandma, who's Matt's mom. I love this.
These babies are going to be so loved.
So
They're always
spoiled.
so loved.
So our kids always have a loving set of grandparents.
Oh.
And
But yeah, that was interesting. I love the happy ending. I like it when these stories have happy endings. I was happy that everything ended well. But yeah, sometimes he can have really bad endings. Like I said, I kind of wonder if Matt was a little selfish, and he's loved being a dad. He wanted to be a dad, and this was his opportunity to be a dad. And I don't blame him. If this is the only way he can have kids, go for it. But yeah, this was something. I kind of wonder what happened to Dan. Did he go and get cleaned up, or did he go off the deep end? But either way, we can have an happy ending. Just take it. You know what they say: don't look a gift horse in the mouth. And Dan saw an opportunity. Matt saw an opportunity to be a girl dad and said, "I'm going to be a girl dad." So that's why I said it's kind of a little selfish in that way, that he's happy that he's a dad. But hey, and the fact that she bonded with the kid is also awesome. The fact that all three sets of parents or grandparents are like spoiling the kids. So these kids are definitely going to be loved. They're going to be taken care of. So hopefully it stays that way. All right, everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and everyone take care. Later.